back. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of reasons I can pinpoint why I came back. I think the overarching one is just I love it here. Another one is that guy who you just talked to, EB. The culture that he creates within the team, within the program, is something that I've honestly never really experienced, and just to be considered a part of this team is just a huge honor.
I guess why did a guy from Georgetown come here in the first place?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird story. I got hurt my senior year at Georgetown, and with the COVID year and that year, I knew I had 2 years to, possibly play at the highest program that I possibly could. So I entered transfer portal, talked to a lot of great schools, but took a visit here and immediately fell in love. Just by the way the guys handle their business and the way they play, and I don't know, something was just drawing me to Clemson, and just the fact that I got the opportunity to come try to play here is just huge.
How much was last year kind of a roller coaster? Obviously, you have the moment against South Carolina, win the game, and then you get your knee injury and you're out for the year.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was a huge roller coaster. Obviously, that injury unexpected, but part of the game. The risk that you take going out there and playing as hard as you can. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that a year ago today, I was just kind of my first couple months here, just trying to get the hang of things. But yeah, huge roller coaster. We're still putting in the work this fall, same work that we put in last fall, and just preparing to get even further than we did last year.
What maybe did you learn when you're sitting here in the dugout, just sort of watching as where this team heads? Just sort of what are the things you picked up on, I guess, instead of playing, just observing?
Like the second half of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it was just kind of unexpected. One of those things where you need to, pivot and just take on a different role. Obviously, I wasn't able to play the second half of the year, but watching this team and being there for them and just trying to contribute as much as possible in those moments, getting into the playoffs, into the regionals, super regionals. Again, that's something I've never experienced. So just being able to be part of the team still was just really, really cool.
Baggage talked about sort of the community rallying around this team in the summer and just seeing where they ended up. Just what was that like to watch as well, and see what this fan base is when they're really charged up?
Yeah, it's just, we're a family here. So no matter if a guy had a lot of playing time last year or didn't, everyone obviously goes their own little separate ways in the summer and plays on different teams around the country. So yeah, it's just a family, and that goes back to what EB builds here. Just builds a community, builds a brotherhood. We're spending every single day together, so you really get to know these guys, and you just want to see as much success for everyone as possible.
Backage talked about, he reminds you guys that they're not putting together a starting lineup in October, November. What's it like to have that mentality, and what do you take in, and is it hard to fight that thought that you are competing for a starting spot given that you're coming back from an injury?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I don't think anyone's thinking about that right now. I think we're kind of in the meshing stages, and talent alone isn't going to get a team to Omaha. The chemistry and the community, and like I said, the brotherhood is what's going to get us to that next step. Yeah, I think everyone's just trying to play as hard as we can right now in the fall. Obviously, it's still early, a lot of time, but I think that's the difference here as opposed to different teams I've played on. It's just everyone wants to play so hard, not because they're fighting for a spot, it's just because everyone loves it so much. And you'll see us taking batting practice out here, and guys are diving all over the place, and it's just like guys just have love for the game here. So yeah.
Eric talks about encouraging you guys to go for some different PRs that maybe you want to. Is there somewhere specifically you're targeting, or how do you approach that?
Well, I'm at the end stages of my rehab right now, so I'm kind of taking everything with a grain of salt, and just know that it's a long process. Even when you're quote unquote cleared, there's still a mental aspect to it that you need to learn how to trust the knee again. But for me, I think I just started swinging about a month ago, so I'm kind of chasing some more power right now and making little minor adjustments. But personally, I'm just trying to trust this knee again and get back to kind of where I was.
I know it's super early, but you guys are obviously losing veterans from last season. Have you seen anybody that's kind of stepped up already into that leadership role, or has it been everybody? How has that kind of played out so far?
Yeah, obviously we lost some key guys, especially in terms of offensive power when you think of Blake Wright, Jimmy Overtop, and Hinderleiter and Alden and all them. But I think everyone kind of realizes that and knows that guys need to step up. Some guys that come to mind already this fall is Jaron Purify and Tristan McClatty that have just been, it feels like a different player since last year in terms of physically and just kind of the way they're approaching just everyday practice. Even some freshmen that have come in, you can tell that they're going to have huge impacts this year and obviously along their whole college career. But yeah, I feel like we have a younger team this year, and because of that, guys know that they can't take a whole year to get adjusted. They need to kind of come in and make an impact.
We heard a guy, Luke Gaffney, can play first, third, catch, outfield. How much competition does he bring, just knowing he can play?
Yeah, he's a baller. Between him and Colin Priest, the two transfers that came in, they can do some serious damage at the plate. And they've already, within it's not even been 2 months, they've just made huge jumps from a defensive perspective. Getting adjusted to Clemson. But yeah, they're going to bring some serious pop this year, and I'm really looking forward to getting to playing with them.
Coach is also talking about Dominic Listy as a guy who just gets on base. What have you observed from him?
He's a grinder. So he's one of my roommates, and from the moment I met him, he kind of reminded me of Alden Mathis. The way he, just grinded out at bats, got on base, didn't matter how hard he hits it. Even when he gets down with 2 strikes, you don't see a lack of confidence in his face. You know that he's going to grind out an at bat, and one of his things is just getting on base any way he can, whether it be getting hit by a pitch and not getting out of the way, or just keep fouling balls off until he gets his pitch. He's going to be a huge on base guy this year.
I guess we talk about flashing back to a year ago. This would have been when he first kind of got here. What was the biggest adjustment? Was it food? Was it weather? Was it
I would say for me personally, it was just kind of the facilities. At Georgetown, our field was off campus, and so we made the best of it, and it was great. But every day it was kind of having to drive through the DC traffic and get to a public park. And I feel like here it's just super cool to me that our locker room is right there. You can walk right out to the field. Our cages are right out there, so everything's kind of in a condensed area where I think that promotes some more work ethic and some more kind of out of practice work kind of on your own.
I think Coach Bakich has a tradition where he kind of takes the facilities and blocks you guys out and takes all the
in the
gear
beginning.
in the beginning.
In the beginning,
fall
yes.
training. What was that like the first time you went through that?
Yeah, I was kind of used to that. My previous program at Georgetown kind of did a similar thing. But it's just an emphasis on you get what you earn. And so, especially with this brand new team, he doesn't want guys coming in and just being given everything, all the cool stuff they see, all the gear and everything. So I think that's a really unique part of his coaching style, and I think it definitely makes us work harder, and it makes us more grateful kind of for the opportunity just to go out on the field, even in a plain white t-shirt and a purple hat with no C on it. I think the idea of earning the C is really special, and I think that's one of the many things that makes him the great coach he is.
This is we talk about being a really new team, but is there any carryover from last year just in terms of getting to Super Regional and not quite getting to Omaha? How much hunger do you feel like there?
Yeah, there's a lot of hunger. Especially older guys, Reed Garris, Tristan Bissetta, who have been there, who have been in the program longer than me. They've seen the past 2 years us fall short. So I think even the guys that weren't here and this is their first year, they know what happened the past 2 years and know how close we got. And so I think they kind of just bought into that hunger and know that, making a super regional or hosting a super regional isn't enough. From day one, EB has been talking about, not just getting to Omaha as the goal, but winning Omaha. And we just finished up our ancestry presentations in the classroom, which is where every player gets assigned an alumni. And this year it was specifically an alumni who made it to Omaha. So all of us got to talk to one of those guys and put a little presentation together. And after everyone was done, we kind of just drew some commonalities between all the guys, and that just allowed us to see what needs to be accomplished this fall and the beginning of the spring before we start playing.
Who was your alumni?
My alumni, Casey Stone. He played under Coach Leggett. apparently is one of Coach Leggett's favorite guys. But you know, the similarities between just about everyone was good leadership, putting in the extra work, and hanging out off the field. Because like I said before, it's not just talent that's gonna get us to Omaha. It's kind of all the overarching things that people don't really see behind the scenes that's gonna, you know, build that chemistry and make us want to win even more.
So you actually talked to him,
Yeah.
in person.
Yep.
Like, kind of, what was it like talking to him? Like, did he encourage you in a certain way?
Awesome. Yeah. I think it's just really cool because obviously we learned some stories about what happened. But then after I asked him his 2 or 3 questions, we kind of just, you know, talked like guys. He was asking about a few specific players this year because, I mean, it seems like every single alumni just continues to follow the program, which is awesome. And I think because of their previous success, their past success, along with EB coming in and kind of changing the program around a little bit, I think what EB kind of instills in us is what they were used to, the alumni who played under Coach Leggett. So it's pretty cool to, you know, time travel a little bit and think about those days and kind of compare it to how we are now.
Anything else? All right.